The 9x19 caliber died and resurrected again. Almost a year and a half ago, almost every other person used it. The low cost of the cartridge, absolutely minimal recoil, and affordability combined made it the inherently correct choice, followed by victory over the enemy. Let's see what the weapon represents in the current environment. How does 9x19 differ so much from the others? Why is it the best choice for a beginner, but at the same time also the worst? What weapons are associated with this caliber? Which one should you choose specifically? Your subscription and like will signal that the video was interesting. Let's begin. The spectrum of weapons consists of pistols, carbines, and submachine guns. When it comes to pistols in Escape from Tarkov, we can see a total of 8. Glock 18C, Beretta M9A3, Glock 17, Glock 19X, SIG P226R, PL15, MR443 Grudge, as well as the Chiapparano 200DS. In real life, there are significantly more of them. Smith & Wesson MP9, CZ75, Heckler & Koch VP9, Walther P99, Ruger SR9 and many others. Interestingly enough, out of the 8 pistols available in the game, 3 are named Glock. And this is not without reason, because Glock has a wide range of mods with the ability to install a large 50-round magazines. Sights can be tailored to your taste, and if you desire, even a collimator sight can be installed. For greater comfort, a stock can also be attached, reducing its recoil. Glock 18C stands out among all due to its automatic firing mode. Naturally, this is not an assault rifle, so the bullets do not fly as accurately, and the recoil is impressive due to its enormous rate of fire at 1,200 rounds per minute, the highest in the game. This isn't far from reality. With these frames, we can compare how the game differs from real life. What is the difference between Glock 19X and Glock 17? The 19X has less potential for assembly. It cannot have a stock attached, the barrel replaced or a suppressor attached, and it's also in coyote color, which sets it apart from the overall green palette of locations. In exchange for these limitations, it received a shortened barrel, slightly better horizontal and vertical recoil values, and became about 100 grams lighter. However, it's strange that its more indicators are better than the Glock 17, which doesn't match reality. In the game, the Glock 17 sells for the negligible sums, lower than practically any other alternative, but the combination of its malfunctionality, low recoil, and absence of any blended negatives makes it the best choice in the caliber. Speaking of the worst choices, it's obvious what's looking at the Chiapparano. It's a joke from the developers. Only the most desperate will use it. Extremely compact Italian-made pistol, with a drum, long reload time, very ergonomic. It has a unique design feature in the form of a shifted barrel axis, which makes its recoil lower, suitable for self-defense, training, but in the context of Tarkov, absolutely useless. Let's talk about carbines. In Tarkov, there are only 2. Saiga 9 and STM. Speaking of their effectiveness, even by reading the description of the Saiga, we see that it's primarily a weapon for sports training and recreational shooting, not for the destruction of opponents and victory over numerous enemies. The main thing for which a carbine could be used is accurate shooting at targets with the economical use of ammunition. In the absence of automatic fire mode, it would be nice to have increased accuracy or muzzle velocity. In terms of accuracy, it's there. More on Saiga is 2.41 and on STM 3.78, while for any other SMG the value will be around 6.5. However, is it worth it? The main problem of his 9x19 caliber as a whole is not even low armor penetration, but rather muzzle velocity due to its low weight. The most popular AP 6.3 will cover 100 meters in 0.31 seconds, while the same BT 5.45 will do it almost 3 times faster. This only means that hitting even a somewhat distant moving target will be extremely difficult. And thus, using the weapon and the caliber as a whole is necessary up close, but it's not very rational to fight semi-automatically against opponents with assault rifles at the distances of 10 to 20 meters. Because of this, both of these carbines are difficult to assess as serious weapons. The most interesting part is the submachine guns. They are the main type of weapon in the caliber worthy of permanent use. In addition, the developer has finally loosened his grip on the throats of metagamers a little, and has allowed already on the third peacekeeper to buy 210 cartridges, as well as on the third workbench to craft 118 bullets in 6 hours, where the cost is $3 per one. This is more expensive than buying, but still. PPP is also conditionally available for crafting. Their characteristics are significantly better in terms of penetration, but production is too unprofitable. Their AP 6.3 penetration is sufficient to defeat any opponent. Soft armor most often doesn't exceed the third class of protection, and face shield above the third class is close behind difficult and late quests. Most SMGs differs mainly in their rate of fire and various individual features, but literally every specimen is worthy of attention, so we will gradually move on, starting with the least rapid-fire ones. The first one is the Vites, 700 rounds per minute. Besides having the lowest rate of fire, its initial muzzle velocity is also the lowest at 375 meters per second. It's effective only in the early stages of the game, because even its maximum magazine capacity is only 30 rounds. The price is pleasing, you can grab it for around 20k, but if desired, gearheads are capable of spending hundreds turning something awful into something equally awful, but expensive. The MP5. This is a much more comfortable weapon, with a rate of fire of 800 per minute and a muzzle velocity of 435 meters per second. However, if you decide to build, in my opinion, more attractive suppressed version by replacing the base, this could be a fatal mistake, because the muzzle velocity will decrease, making it harder to hit. Its price is also not high, around 24k, but through modding it will naturally increase slightly. It already has the ability to install magazines for 50 rounds. However, their price is high, so you'll have to run with 30 rounders. That disadvantage is nullified by this problem. MP5 has a younger brother, Curse. It's just a stab, which fits well into your rig, is a good sniper assistant, and at this wipe it's even partially playable. But as the main weapon, using it is stretched, because the recoil still makes itself felt. MPX, 850 rounds per minute. And the most annoying thing is its very low muzzle velocity of 338 meters per second. This makes the choice of this SMG very questionable. It has an advantage in the form of possibility of interesting modding. With the installation of a long barrel, you can assemble a very beautiful and interesting gun. But even with the longest barrel, the muzzle velocity will not exceed 403 meters per second. But at the same time, the ergonomics will suffer and the price will increase significantly. If you don't go overboard with modding, it will be around 50k. On the plus side, there are not such expensive magazines for 50 rounds. MP9, 900 rounds per minute. Surprisingly, even though it's one of the shortest SMGs overall, the muzzle velocity is a whole 435 meters per second. The main drawback of this SMG is the 30-round magazines. Its price is on average 30k, even after modding it will be around 50k, but it's simply not feasible to significantly modify the weapon. It's a good gun for those who want to defeat the enemy quickly, but too high rate of fire it's not for them. If you want the same gun but to win even faster, there's the older brother with the N suffix, but more on that later. Vector, 950 rounds per minute. A laser gun with the ability to install a 50-round magazine. There are no real downsides. But there is one. It's the price. Just the base will cost you 100k. For such a sum you can assemble 2 AKs. This is probably the most balanced gun in the caliber, with a large magazine, good rate of fire but not too high, ergonomic, and overall deadly. That's why the price tag is so high. MP9N, used by special forces around the world. Compact, the next step in the evolution of the MP9. It has the highest rate of fire among SMGs, 1100 rounds per minute. However, the problem remains in the form of 30-round magazines. Due to its characteristics, the 9x19 caliber is primarily suitable for close combat. The low bullet weight doesn't allow it to fly fast and far, but thanks to the design of the weapon for this caliber, it's perfect for indoor use. 90% of PvP will come down to aiming at the opponent's head and spraying well, because the damage and penetration of the cartridge won't allow you to effectively win by hitting the chest. The main advantage that allows realizing weapons in this caliber is their relatively low recoil, making shooting accurately very easy. At first glance, it's a great choice for beginners, because you don't need to learn to control the gun's recoil. However, a person is forced to be faster and more accurate, and playing from a distance won't be a realistic option. On the one hand, it's easier to play with such guns, but on the other hand, you need to have considerable experience to fully realize all the advantages of the caliber with dignity. Write in the comments which caliber to analyze next, like and subscribe. Good luck!